I'll be able to buy a better frame shift drive. So the trick is, I don't have the illicit cargo once, and I can actually get away with this. So the trick is, as I said before, docking was not something that went well previously for me. Now, as long as I don't get scanned, hopefully they'll not see my cargo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come within comms range of the station and basically set up my request for docking, pad 4.
Request approved. Just heading for approach to
Now,
pad
docking is
04.
something that's always been, I've hit R3 at some point. Docking is something that's always been interesting in Elite. It's the original game was kind of famous for how difficult it was. Elite Dangerous, I tend to think they've got the balance quite right, so if you're paying attention, you're careful, it's fine. It's only kind of if you get cocky that you're almost certainly going to go splat. So let's hope I don't go splat. L1, I'm on the silent running to try and avoid any other detection.
Allow for increased traffic flow in the sector. Please reduce your speed, Commander.
No, I'm good. So far. And this is where the new control scheme is going to mess me up. I'm going to slow down. Temperature critical. That's because I've engaged silent running to try and avoid being scanned. So if I can get through the mail slot, I'll switch off. Oh, now in. Full stop, full stop, full stop. Oh, that's not good. All integrity's compromised, but I'm not dead yet. We want to get away from our suffers. Let's see if we can switch off the silent running before getting in big trouble. Right. Let me find that pad 4. There it is. No! My best. Talking. But I'm still alive. And anyone you can walk away from. As I say, me and the joypads still have some ways to go before we're going to be totally friends when it comes to docking. I'm just going to go slow, and I'm going to remember to put down some landing gear. There we go. Right. So I'm going to slow down a bit. Rotate my ship. Try and line myself up. Too fast. Yes, well, this your definition of critical on 9 and 20% is fine. As long as I don't do anything more silly than I've already done. There we go. That was exciting. Starport services. Let's fix up the ship. So, safe to say, that could have gone better. But on the plus side, no one scanned me going into the station, so no fines to worry about. And now what I want to do is go outfitting, which will see my little Sidewinder into the bowels of the station. Let's see if we can improve my jump range. Here we go. So within the outfitting, I want to go into the core internal. Frameshift drive. It's only a 2E at the moment, and right at the bottom middle of the screen you can see the jump min current max, so I've only got a maximum of 6 light years. So hopefully if we browse the shop, oh dear, they're all too expensive. Pity, because they would have solved my jump range issues. if I can replace anything else with a lighter weight version that might also improve my chances of improving my jump range. It doesn't look very good. I could get rid of this planetary vehicle hanger, which I don't technically need just now. So let's sell that off. Well, what have I got? My jump range is now increased to 7 light years. I don't know if that's actually going to help or not. Let's come out. Let's access the old galaxy map again. And hopefully, if I get really lucky, Wyrd is accessible now. Excellent. Okay. So the planetary vehicle hangar is essentially it allows you to carry an SRV, a sort of buggy essentially. You can use to drive around planet surfaces, but given that I'm just in a basic Sidewinder at the moment, I think I can safely do without it. What I might do is, if I go back into outfitting, I've now got a free slot, which as long as I don't go crazy with the weight, I can use for something useful. Let's see what there is. That's what I was hoping for. So this is a docking computer that will hopefully help with my slight crashing issues as I came into the station there. Okay, so got a full tank of gas. My Sidewinder is no longer falling apart. Let's launch and see if we can finish these 2 missions tonight. Let's see if we can finish them without the PlayStation Network is currently undergoing maintenance. Keep out for this broadcast. See what happens.
Detach sequence complete. Regulate your speed when exiting the docking bay.
I rebalanced the power of the ship there, so all I did there was basically just put everything into shields and engines, because they're really the only things I should be needing here. Oh, landing gear. Don't need that. Okay, so by putting more power into my engines, you can see it kind of replenishing quicker there, so my base speed is increased, and it means that thrust recharges faster. Okay, so we can mass walk that bit quicker, and then I can make the next jump. Obviously something I'm going to have to consider is whether I'm going to stick with the Sidewinder or whether I'm going to try and move out of it as quickly as possible. The Cobra Mark III, an excellent ship, does need you to have a couple $100,000. Nowhere near at the moment. So what I need to consider doing is whether I'm going to want to trade this ship in for an alternative, so other airway ships in the game, just as I'm doing these jumps, would be the Eagle and Viper, which are both much more combat oriented. So one potential option is that if I find what's called a resource extraction zone, or RES, they tend to have lots of wanted piratey types in them, and if you find a RES that's marked as low, that means it's low risk, which means it's absolutely swarming with cops, so they can actually be quite a good way to make some easy money, because you just kind of sit on the tail of a cop patrol, and when you see them targeting someone, you target that person, make sure you get a couple of shots in on them, let the cops do the rest, and then you'll get to claim bounty on that kill. So that can be quite a nice way to make some cash, especially at this early stage in the game. So if I see resource zones, once I've kind of either survived dropping these missions off or died, I may be tempted to go to the more combat-oriented craft, or the other option would be the hauler, which you can think of as a kind of space transit van. So it's a very starter sort of cargo ship. It's very lightly armed, but it does give you a bit more cargo space, so you can take some trading missions and make some early cash that way. There we go. Another thing I'll need to watch there is on the far right you can see a fuel gauge, so I'm actually chewing through some fuel with these jumps, but hopefully I've only got, I mean, if I go back to this map you can see I've got 2 jumps to go, so hopefully I should be fine. So let's button. Here we go. At least so far the stream seems to be holding up. Let's see if I can... Oh, typically I see that. Apparently special broadcast gameplay. Excellent. I have no idea what that means for the stream, if it's now cut off or if it's just glitched. There we go. So, 1 jump to go to Wyrd. If you're still with me, I have no idea if you are or not. You can see on the right hand side of my cockpit display there, I now have an illicit cargo. If I go to my panel over here, under inventory, you can see my illegal 2 tons of battle weapons. So let's see what happens. Let's make this is my last jump. Of course, I've forgotten the name of this station I'm supposed to be dropping these off at. Hopefully, both missions go to the same system, same station, sorry. Sure they will. Alright, so we're here. Let's just go back over here. So the battle weapons are go to on a bird cooperative. Which is, please don't be miles away. So in here you can see some low intensity conflict zones. You've got 2 factions generally fighting here. To be honest, I've always found that I die very quickly in conflict zones. I far prefer the resource extraction zones. Of course, the fact that there are conflict zones here with a couple of factions in contention possibly explains why I'm dropping off some battle weapons. Let's hope I manage to drop them off to the right people. Or if I'm dropping them off to the wrong people, that I make a mess of it and get blown to pieces. So the trick here, I always used to overshoot these targets quite drastically, and having said that, I'm probably going to end up overshooting again. But just the throttle gauge on the right of the main radar display there, I always just try and keep it in the lower part of the blue section the speed. Rather than sort of charging in full pelt, I found that speed falls off as you get closer to kind of planetary bodies and things, and I found that sort of having the gauge roughly there should hopefully mean that I don't overshoot where I'm going, and I should get the safe to drop out message shortly. It's looking Nice Earth-like world that this station's in orbit of. On the head look, we can see it there. Okay. Coming in. Once this drops below 1, then we'll be able to drop. To the station. So the previous station you saw me at was what called the Coriolis type. It's the kind of traditional elite station. This is an Orbis type, which I was like, these, they look very cool. There we go. So I'm going to come to an immediate stop. So from where it's dropping is not necessarily the best. I'm going to try and smuggle cargo.
Romeo, Echo, India. This is Federal Flight Control. Submit to random security scan on your approach.
Hopefully without being scanned. What I might do is just toggle the silent running for a wee bit. As long as no cops see me. And if they see me, I'm pretty much done for anyway. I'm in a Sidewinder, so. Where are we? Yeah, that's right. That looks good. Come to stop. We'll toggle that stop, isn't it? Flip around and see where I am. So my plan here. That's not really worked out at all. The plan here is to try and get the wind up the docking slot before I do anything else. Nope, not yet. We're probably going to engage silent running as I did before. It basically works by closing up all your ship's vents so you don't have a heat signature on them, which also means you fly. So unless you've equipped heat sinks on your ship, which you can use to temporarily resolve the boiling alive issues. So that's a bit better. Just really don't want to be scanned here. Hopefully the cargo's not horrifically illegal and I'll maybe just get fined if I'm caught, but particularly want to chance it. Looks not too bad, so I'll do it forward again. Just to bring something back in range. Request docking. Now I do have the docking computer, so if I go this way right into 0, it will kick in.
Traffic warning. Be on the lookout for other vessels in the area.
I'm trying to do this. Again, I'm not very good at docking at all. I just have to go to 0 and chance this. Waiting in queue is not what you want to hear.
Make your way to landing pad 28. Automated docking confirmed.
Woo! I think my auto dock is drunk. Let's just hope the cops will leave me alone. That's got me lined up nicely. Come on, auto dock, don't fail me now. What a nice background music player. Commander has his feet up. A nice station. Nice modern station. See the details there with the vehicles travelling along the roads and the park. We're just going past it as we're here. Alright. That actually went far better than that at any rate. So now if we go to mission board, currently sitting at 5,465 credits, but we can hand in a data delivery. which gets us up to the 23,000 mark. That's a good start. There we go. And Comrade Seth Moss. You wanted 2 tons of our finest battle weapons. There we go.
Incoming message.
Suddenly, I'm much more cash rich than I was. There's been a message coming in, so we'll just quickly check that out. And then I think we will probably... Ah, you can see in the top right there where it's come from. So this is the... if I go up to the comms panel, and my messages here. I've been promoted to mostly penniless. There we go. So the signature of this game is, of course, the progression through ranks in trade, exploration and combat. Until you hit the point of being elite. If I go to the screen over here, you can see combat harmless, trade rank mostly penniless, explorer rank aimless, and CQC rank, which is sort of player versus player fighter combat that you can do. They're all sitting very low for just now, but then I have just started. We'll take a look and see what else is available at this station. I'm just going to refuel. I thought I was refueling. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go to the shipyard, see what's on offer. So I've got the choice of 3 ships here. The Sidewinder, which is the starter ship I'm currently in. The Eagle, which I mentioned before. It does have a much better frame shift range, so that could be useful. Shields are better. The armor's not as good, but it is a nippier ship. You can see from the speed and maneuverability there. So it could be an interesting option to go for, slightly more combat oriented. And then you've got the Hauler, which is your space transit van that I mentioned before. You can see it's far less maneuverable and it's nowhere near as fast, but far better jump range. Shields and armor are much better, and you can carry a massive 8 tons of cargo versus the 2. So I suspect I'll be tempted by the Hauler just to get. I suspect cargo transfer for now is going to be my better option, but I will give it some thought and I will pick it up tomorrow, I think. So if anyone has actually watched this, thank you very much, and I will leave it there for the night. Okay.